budget airline Bonza went into voluntary administration late last month when its planes were suddenly seized. The company says it didn't see it coming. While Bonza had debts of over $100 million, those close to the business say the numbers prove they were on the right track. A closer look at its mysterious backers reveals there's more to this story than first meets the eye.
777 has made a real business of moving money from one pocket to another.
When Bonza CEO Tim Jordan got his dream of a regional airline off the ground in early 2023, Bonza! It was thanks to the financial support of Miami-based investment fund 777 Partners. 777 brought both the money and a fleet of Boeing 737 MAX 8s, which it leased to Bonza through a subsidiary.
Leasing in itself is not a problem. Leasing internally is a curious structure though. It was, I think, a little bit of 777 Partners had MAX 8s that they had to place, and Bonza became a place to put the aircraft.
777 Partners was formed in 2015 by Stephen Pascoe and Josh Wander. They initially made their money through litigation finance.
Like slip and fall lawsuits, car accident lawsuits, sometimes life insurance policies that kind of be lump sum paid up front.
In 2019, they moved into reinsurance, which involves buying policies off insurers and making more through investments than they pay back in claims.
And they're pretty good at this. They get a couple of $1 billion, by about 2021. And they try to go start investing it in some fun places.
That included taking a punt on Bonza, a Canadian budget airline called Flair, and the British Basketball League. But the most notable stakes were in financially distressed football clubs, including Seville, Genoa, Hertha Berlin, and Melbourne Victory.
I think most people would say they probably should not be backed by insurance policyholders' money.
Last year, they launched their boldest bid to buy struggling and indebted English Premier League side Everton for £550 million.
Lots of questions have been asked about whether 777 are the right owners for Everton.
Troubles me slightly, the look and feel of them.
There are reports that the Premier League are minded to approve 777 subject to a number of conditions being met.
Despite some misgivings, the deal did appear on track until earlier this month, when the company was accused of fraud by one of its lenders, UK-based Leadenhall Capital.
According to the lawsuit, Leadenhall is owed more than $600 million by the fund at this moment. And in its investigation, it found that about $350 million of collateral that it thought it had a first lien claim on were in fact either double pledged, so pledged to somebody else, or did not exist.
777 Partners did not respond to the allegations or requests for comment. If it loses, it's facing the prospect of having to pay back Leadenhall plus damages while keeping its many other plates spinning. When Hall Chadwick took over administering Bonza, they tried and failed to reach an agreement with the lessor which would see the planes back in the air. It turns out 777 had sold a 49% stake in the leasing company to an insurance company called ACAP, who the Leadenhall lawsuit describes as the silent partner behind 777, which has loaned them more than $2 billion.
The allegation in the lawsuit that they are effectively, the Wizard of Oz behind the curtain.
ACAP denies they have any control over 777. Dr. Ian Douglas from the School of Aviation at UNSW believes Bonza CEO Tim Jordan's idea was doomed to fail, regardless of who was backing it.
His ideal was a 70-seat regional aircraft to fly regional routes, and that to me would have made a great deal more sense.
But for most of its 15 months in the air, Bonza had access to 4 Boeing 737s, which can carry 186 passengers.
If you can't fill a 180-seat aircraft, then there's not much point flying lots of cheaper seats that are empty.
A source close to Bonza said the airline had an average of 130 customers per flight, a number they say was trending upwards. They said demand was also strong, with the business forecasting a 10 to 20% increase in bookings between May and August compared to last year. If given the chance, they believe they were on track to be profitable. But Tim Jordan has always said he needed another 6 737s to compete. Far from the boardrooms, it's people like Matt Hobson who are paying the price for Bonza's failure.
We invested in some people, some equipment and the packaging. We were providing Sunshine & Sons original vodka, original dry gin, our own Nil Desperandum rum.
Carvu is one of several Sunshine Coast businesses who was supplying Bonza.
It's a very significant part of our business, both in revenue and that liquid on lips, the trial opportunity that contract presented.
Creditors were told by Hall Chadwick that Bonza had total debts of around $116 million, including $5.3 million owing to employees, 300 of whom have been stood down without pay.
The pain point for us is that we'd hoped Bonza would grow. We were and continue to cheer them on. We want them to be flying.
Hall Chadwick say they've been in discussions with over 20 parties about taking over Bonza, but this whole situation raises the question, does more need to be done to ensure new players are viable and backed by sound investors?
Australia is one of the most liberal and open aviation markets. Provided you can demonstrate that you can operate safely, there is no commercial or regulatory impediment to coming into the market.